is going to be the tutorial that's going to show you how to do this Lion Brand Home Spun Falling Water Shawl. And this was requested by one of my patrons. I don't know if she would want me to say her name, so I'm not going to do that. I can tell you her first name is Susan. And she was asking me to do this for a while, and I finally got around to doing it. I can see by the pictures that this is, in general, is kind of a small shawl. Even the model, it doesn't completely cover her. So it's not meant to be a big shawl. It's more like just to kind of wear over the shoulders. And I'm going to do my best to show the pictures that I've gotten. I haven't got a response from Lion Brand yet, but I'm hoping that they will say yes, and I'll show you some of the pictures from their site. Now the pattern you can only find on their webpage, and I'll give you the link in the description box below. Please go there. It's a very easy pattern to follow. So if you want to learn how to do a pattern, you can follow along with me through this video. You can have the pattern up on the side so that it'll help you learn better how to read patterns. Now this shawl itself, like I said, it's not so big of a shawl, and there's lots of holes and stuff in it, so it really doesn't take so much yarn. These skeins do happen to be kind of big. Like this one, for instance, is 300 meters, which is a bit bigger than usual. And this one is 250 meters. And I end up using less than a skein of the darker color, and I actually used it the most. It has three, actually no, it's both has 3 times I used it. And I actually had to dip into a second skein of this. So to be on the safe side, if it's not too expensive, go ahead and grab 2 skeins of each color that you want to use for this project. And this is worst weight, 4 ply for the US, 10 ply for Australia. And also, they don't tell you what size hook to use. They give you a gauge. And the gauge is, it says it's 4 inches for every 11 stitches plus 4 rows. And also in centimeters, it's 10 centimeters. So what I did is I made this first bit, because it's worked like this. It's worked from the neck out. So you'll start with the small part and go out. And I just made these first 4 rows before I changed colors. And then I'd measure it, my double crochets. So I got my 11 double crochets and made sure that it was at least 10 centimeters, because we use centimeters out here in Israel. It's going to be 10 centimeters or 4 inches. So get your tapestry, not tapestry, but your, I'm drawing a blank. Get your measuring tape. And on the 4th row, count over at least 10 centimeters or 4 inches to make sure that you have the size gauge that you need, because it will matter depending on how tight or loose you crochet and the size of your yarn. So I had to use a 8mm hook, and I believe a size 8 is an L. I think I wrote that down. Yes, L hook. And if you want to make it a little bit bigger, because like I said, this shawl in general is kind of small, maybe you want to use a 9 or a 10. But just keep in mind that the holes will be bigger. I want to quickly tell you on this pattern itself, and I do recommend that you go ahead and you bring it up while you're working the tutorial. They tell you all the stitches that you'll use. One of them is the back post double crochet. Another is a front post double crochet. You'll also be using the front post single crochet, but that's used only on the very last row of the shawl. And she has 2 different kinds of shells you'll be using. One is the large shell, which consists of 3 double crochets, a chain of 2, and 3 double crochets. And the small shell will be 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. So the difference between the large and the small shell is that you do 3 double crochets for the large and 2 double crochets for the small. You'll also be doing a lot of V-stitches, which are just double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And then there's the picot stitch, which is just a chain of 3, and then you go back and you slip stitch in that 3rd chain from the hook, which is the very first chain that you do. And those are all the stitches that you'll be doing. And like I said, you'll be starting by making this first section. And I changed my colors every 4 rows. They say that they also use 2 colors in their pattern, but they don't tell you when to change colors, so it's up to you. If you want like this pattern like I have here, all the way to the end, and the end is also the lighter color. I started with the darker color. So if you're going to change every 4 rows like me, then if whatever color you start here, if you're having 2 colors, like I have the darker here, remember you're going to end with the other color. If you want this to be the darker color, then you probably want to start with the lighter color here. Okay, for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm not going to be able to make the whole shawl, but I'm going to show you the important parts of this pattern that you need to know. I'm also going to be using this lighter color so that you can see. So I'm probably not going to be changing colors like I did in the other ones, but I'll tell you when you need to. Okay, so to begin, I'm with my 8mm hook, and you want to do a chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then in the 5th chain, which is the very first chain you did, you want to work a large shell. And remember, the large shell is 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So work your 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then work 3 more double crochets, all worked in the same chain space. And then they want you to chain 1 and work 1 more double crochet into that space. My yarn is thrown up and it keeps getting stuck. Oh, there we go. Finally released. Ugh, sorry about that. I had to fight with my yarn. I hate yarn throw up. I'm sure there's some of you out there going, ew, Candy, don't say throw up. It's so gross. There, now I finished my double crochet. So now you should have what looks like, get a little closer here. Basically this chain 5, and you worked in the 5th stitch. So this chain 4 is basically the double crochet chain 1, and then you do your shell. Then you chain 1 and you work a double crochet in the same stitch. So you should basically have the equivalent of double crochet chain 1 on each side, and then your shell, which is 3 double crochets and 2 chains in the middle. That's how you begin. Now this is worked in rows, so you're going to be chaining and turning every round. So for row 2, we're going to be doing a chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the pattern says that this chain 4 will count as your double crochet chain 1 in this row and all of the rows. So turn, and it says 3 double crochets and the next chain 1 space. So this first chain 1 space here, you're going to be working 3 double crochets in that same stitch. 1, 2, and 3. Then chain 1, and then you're going to be working a large shell in this chain 2 space here. So again, you're going to be doing 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So this is my 3 double crochets, then chain 2, and then 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain worked into your, large shell and a large shell. And then chain 1, and then double crochet 3 in this chain space here. So I'm going to basically be repeating how we began, working 3 double crochets in this big space here. And then again, chain 1, and then you're going to be doing this a lot at the very end. Your very beginning was chain 4. You're going to be going into the 3rd chain every row, at the end of every row. So count 1, 2, and 3, and then this 3rd chain, you're going to work a double crochet. And you're going to be doing that, I think, every row. So that ends row 2. Now for row 3, again, we're always going to start with the chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then turn. Again, you want to put 3 double crochets in this first chain 1 space. 1, 2, and 3. Then you'll chain 1, and then again in this next space you'll want to do 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1, and then now in this shell you'll put another large shell. So you're going to start working right into this top and do another shell, which again consists of 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. So 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. And again, you want to chain 1, and then you'll work your next set of 3 double crochets in your next big spot. It's almost like making a granny square. Then chain 1, and then in this very last space here, you're going to be repeating what you did on the opposite side. So we'll do 3 double crochets worked in this beginning stitch. If you forget what you need to do on the end, you can always remember by looking here. I had to do that a few times while making this shawl, because sometimes you do only 2 double crochets here and sometimes you do 3. So if you don't find it in the pattern, you can always just look here, just repeat it. So you got your 3 worked in here, and then you'll end it always the same way, which is chaining 1, finding that 3rd chain, 1, 2, 3, and putting a double crochet in that space. So that is the third row. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the 4th row. We're going to be doing row 4 a lot in this place. I mean, in this pattern. So row 4, you're going to begin chaining 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Turn. You're going to put 2 double crochets in your first chain space this time. 1 and 2. And then you're going to chain, two double crochets in the first chain, and then you're going to double crochet in each double crochet and chain 1 space until you get to what's called the center, which is the center of this peak here. So all along this whole row, you're going to be putting 1 double crochet in each stitch and chain space. So you have your first 3 double crochets here. So you're going to put a double crochet in each one of those. Like I said, you're going to be doing row 4 a lot, so you may want to mark this part of the video because you're going to come back to it a lot. So you got those 3 in the next, and then now in the chain 1 space you'll put a double crochet, and then now working in the next 3 double crochets you'll put 1 double crochet in each of those. Then again in this next space you'll be putting a double crochet, and then in these last 3 double crochets before the space you'll be putting 1 double crochet in each one of those. Now when you get to the space here, they want you to work, we find it here, small shell. A small shell is, just want to double check, 2 double crochets. Yes, 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. So you're going to be doing a small shell in this one. So this time you're only going to be working 2 double crochets. So 1, 2, and then you're going to chain 2, 1, 2, then you're going to go right back into that same space and do 1, 2. Now that's your small shell. Now you're going to be working the same way along the side. We're going to start with our first 3 double crochets, putting 1 double crochet in each stitch. And then in the space here, put 1, and then in the next set of 3 double crochets, you're going to be working 1 double crochet in each of those. Then again in the space, you'll be putting 1, and then you'll be putting 1 in the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. And at the end, you always want to end it the same way you began it. You put 2 double crochets in this beginning space. So you'll be putting 2 double crochets in this last space here. Then you'll chain 1, and then you'll find that third 1, 2, 3, and put your double crochet worked in this third chain. And that will end your 4th row. Now this is where I usually changed my colors. Here, I'll show you. See, this is where I usually changed my colors here, and I'd start using the next color. But for you guys, because of the tutorial, I'm not going to do that. But this is where you do want to measure. So grab your tape measure, and if you're going by the gauge, she goes by 11 stitches, should equal about 10 centimeters or 4 inches, so you can count over. I didn't count this very first stitch. I just started with these 3 because they're more aligned. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So about from here to here, you can measure to see if it equals about 10 centimeters or 4 inches, and mine does exactly. So I've got the gauge that she needed. And I'm using an 8mm hook. So if yours is too small, then you probably want to go down to a 7. Or if it's too big and you want a bigger shawl, that's great. If not, then probably go down. If it's too big, go down 1 hook size. If it's too small, go up 1 hook size. Confusing myself here. So for the purposes of this tutorial, again, I'm not going to switch my color, but if you wanted to, you could just back up 1, get your new color, put it in there, and then I cut my yarn here because it's such a, 4 rows for the next, so you might as well just cut. I would cut it, I would tie my tails together, and then I would continue with that new color. Okay, so for row 5, we're going to continue by chaining 4. 1, 2, whoops, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you'll turn. Again, my yarn. Sorry, I'm fighting with this yarn throw up again. Okay, so then you want to turn. Again, you're going to be putting 2 double crochets in this first chain 1 space, this big old space at the beginning. And then you're going to be doing a front post double crochet around all of your double crochets. So you want to yarn over, grab up the post of the next double crochet, and do a double crochet on it. And you'll do it for the next one. Grab it up. And you'll want to continue to do that on all the double crochets until you get back up to this center part, and then I'll show you what you need to do. Okay, I got to front post double crochet all the way down to my very corner. And again, in this point here, we're going to be working a small shell again. Small shells consist of 2 double crochets, chain 2, then go back into that same space and work 2 double crochets. Now you want to go back to doing your front post. And front post, remember, is when you pick it up and push it forward to you. Back post is when you actually go and you push that post back. So just remember, you're doing front post. You will be doing back post later on. So just continue to do your front post all the way down here until you reach this big space here on the end. And we'll end the row. Okay, did my front post double crochet all the way to my last little chain 4 space area here. And we will put 2 double crochets in that space. Just like we began on the other side, we have 2. And then again, as always, you'll be doing a chain 1, finding that 3rd chain, 1, 2, 3, and putting a double crochet in that space to end the row. So for row 6, again, we're going to be chaining 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Turn. And then in this first space here, we're going to be doing 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to be repeating this next bit here, which is chain 1, skip the next 3 stitches. So count 1, 2, 3, and then this next one, you'll be working 3 double crochets in that stitch. So you can count over 1, 2, 3, and in this 4th, put 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Then again, chain 1, count over again, 1, 2, 3, and in this 4th, you will put 3 double crochets all worked into the same stitch. Then chain 1 again, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and in this 4th, and she wants you, or she, he, whoever did this, Lion Brand, wants you to continue to do this until you get to 3 stitches before the center. So this is the center. So you should have 1, 2, 3. You should be about here. You should have 3 stitches left before you hit the center. And that's when they say they want you to stop the repeat. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, and in this 4th. So that 4th will give me the last I need before I'm at the end. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and chain 1 because that is part of the repeat. Now, okay, they tell you in this little area. So you chain 1 and you skip the next 3 stitches, and then in the center they want you to do a large shell. So a large shell is 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets worked in this big stitch. And then they want you to go back to the repeat. So chain 1, skip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and in this 4th you will go back to doing your double crochet, 3 double crochets, and chain 1. Then count over 1, 2, 3. They want you to do this until you get to 3 stitches from the end here. So I'm just going to keep repeating here. I'm going to go kind of fast so that I can just get there. Feel free to pause the video. This will be my last set of 3 here. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1. So now I've gotten my sets of 3. Chain 1. Now I'm 3 stitches away from the end, and then this last little bit here, They want you to work 3 double crochets in this last space, and then as always chain 1 and work a double crochet 1, 2, 3 in this third space. That is row 6. So for row 7, going to do chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and turn. And this is what we've got so far. So for row 7, you want to double crochet 3 in this first chain 1 space. 1, 2, and 3. Now for the repeat, you'll chain 1, and then you'll find your next space here. These spaces here we're going to be working in. Be doing the exact same thing you did last time. Chain, do 3 double crochets, chain 1. 3 double crochets, chain 1, except this time we're going to be working in these spaces here. So you want to keep doing your 3 double crochets, chain 1, working along in each one of these until you get to the corner center one again, and then I'll show you what to do. Okay, made it up to my corner now, and again you're going to be working a large shell. So the last thing we did was 3 double crochets, chain 1. Now we're working our large shell in our point here, which consists of 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Now again, you want to repeat what you did on the other round. So you'll be chaining 1, finding your next space, and putting 3 double crochets in it. Again, chain 1, move on to the next, and continue until you get to your last space here. Okay, I'm getting my last space here. In this first space, we're going to do the same as we did from the beginning. We're going to put 3 double crochets worked into this last space. Then you'll chain 1, and then again put 1 double crochet in the 1, 2, 3 in the third chain to complete your row. Now just want to back up a second so you can see. This is the way it looks, and you can't really see the ridge from here, but you can see it from yours. This is the first 7 rows, and you're going to be repeating, it says rows 8 through 19. You're going to be repeating the last 4 rows 3 more times. So what I did to help myself remember is I got a piece of paper, and I may need to take a picture of this so you can see. I don't know, because it gets flipped. So I'm just using it as an example. Since you're going to be repeating the last 4 rows, which is 4, 5, 6, and 7, and they're counting it as rows 8 through 19. So you're doing rows 4, 5, 6, and 7 3 times. So what I did is I drew myself 3 boxes like this. And then I wrote 8, 9, 10, and 11. And then I wrote 8 is row 4, row 9 is row 5, row 10 is row 6, then row 11 is 7. And every time I did a row, I would put a line. So let's just repeat this here. What I did is I did 8 was row 4. Probably can't see this here. Number 8 is when I repeat row 4. Then for row 9, I'll repeat row 5. Row 10 is when I repeat row 6. And when I get to row 11, I'll be repeating row 7. Now, every time I got done with a row, I would do this. And then I'd start my next row and do this. My next row, do this. And then, of course, you can see when I got to my next row, I would do this. every time I've completed a row. And then the last row, you can see I have a line. So this was how I completed. And every time I went through all of them, I had my 3 boxes here. So every time I completed doing all set of 4 rows again, I'd mark it off. Then I'd do the next, then I'd mark it off, then the next. So I made sure that I did all 4 of my rows again 3 times. And I circled my 9 here, just so I'd remember every time I got to repeat row 5 again, I changed my color of yarn, because I changed every 5th row. So this is how I kept track. You don't have to do it the same way, but for this pattern you will have to repeat rows 4 through 7 3 more times. So keep track of it however you want. And then when you are done with that, you will be on row 20. And row 20 wants you to repeat rows 4 and 5 1 more time. So for row 20, you will repeat row 4. In row 21, you will repeat row 5. So you're repeating these last 4 rows 3.5 more times. Then it changes when you get to row 22. You're going to be starting your border, basically. This section here. Find it. There we go. You're going to be doing your border area here. And as you can see, these V-stitches, kind of hard to see. You'll be doing V-stitches, and then you'll be doing double crochets, and then V-stitches, double crochets, and I'll show you how to do that. So go ahead and repeat those rows all the way until you get to row 22 and you're ready to start doing the border.